Hey, welcome fellas to your first introductory video on a brand new series on HTML. HTML or Hypertext Markup Language is a technology used to provide structure to our web page using something known as the HTML tag. Any language that uses tags is called a markup language, and HTML tags are written within angular brackets. Each tag generally has a corresponding closing tag before which we write everything that belongs to that tag. The closing tag contains a forward slash to indicate that it's a closing tag. It is important to note that HTML is often used in conjunction with two more hot technologies. First is CSS, which is used to style a web page, and JavaScript, which is used to make our web pages more interactive. It is almost impossible to lecture about HTML without giving a mention of CSS, the cascading style sheet which is used alongside HTML. So this course aims to make you comfortable both with HTML as well as CSS. We will only later deal with JavaScript because we want to keep things simple at first. Now I'm not going to bore you with the history of HTML. You can, however, surely check it out if you want. The link is in the description. But instead, I would like you to dive deep into the good stuff, the coding part. So first, let's set up our coding environment. For that, I recommend you to download Visual Studio Code. The link is in the description. However, you could use any other IDE if you want. Let's have a look on the prerequisites that are absolutely essential before beginning this course. And it's absolutely nothing. It's a beginner's course and you need absolutely no prior knowledge of programming whatsoever to get started with it. And if you don't believe me, I'm also attaching my signature here to endorse what I just said. With that in mind, let's jump to code. So head to code.visualstudio.com and download Visual Studio Code for your operating system. As you can see, it's available for free on Windows, Linux, as well as on macOS. Once it's downloaded and installed, open VS Code in your directory you want to place your HTML files in and get ready to begin. So to begin, let me open the directory and I click Open with Code to open the folder in Visual Studio Code. So to begin with, I download the extension Live Server of Ritvik Day to initialize a live server to help you get a feature called Hot Reloading, which will save us from the hassle of repeatedly refreshing our HTML document. Now we are good to go. We create a file with .html extension and get ready to code. Every HTML file begins with a HTML tag and a closing HTML tag. These tags indicate that the file we are currently dealing with is an HTML file. We open our head tag now. Now the head tag is the right place to put all your content that will be used to style our web page or make it more interactive. Or to be more precise, head tag is the place to put all your JavaScript and CSS stuff. Moreover, the head tag also contains the title of our document. Let us give a title to our document. For that, we use the title tag. After giving the title, we can now right click and open with live server to initialize a live server. As we can see, that title is not displayed directly on the content of the web page, but on the tab section of the page. So in the HTML title, we want to display the stuff which tells about our page in a nutshell. Now let's write something onto a web page. To write content, we use the body tag. But hey, where should we place the body tag? Should I place it within the head tag? Well, no. The head tag contains all the content that will not directly be displayed on the web page. So we need to put the body tag outside the scope of the head tag. Good. Now let's write something in the body. Let's say hello world. And voila, it is indeed displayed. So now with this knowledge in hand, we are able to create a simple hello world HTML application. Let us have a look on some of the common HTML tags. The first tag I'm going to talk about is a tag used to write headings on a web page. Since heading needs to be displayed on the page, they need to be placed inside of the body tag. Let's now have a look on how to write headings in HTML. The correct semantic way to put a heading in an HTML document is by using the tags h1 to h6. This idea is expressed as an hk tag where k is a number which ranges between 1 to 6. Start by writing an h1 tag and then the heading. Let us say today is Saturday and close the h1 tag. And here is our heading. You can also place a h2 below and add another heading. See, we have also added that, but this time it's somewhat smaller in size. On similar lines, we can place tags from h1 to h6, each with a decreasing font size. Next, we can add a paragraph using a tag called the paragraph tag. To write a paragraph, we use the p tag. Nice and easy. Let's try adding another one. Cool. Let's try something different now. Say I want to have some space between a paragraph. To add spacing between paragraphs, use the br tag. The br tag, unlike other tags, does not have a corresponding closing tag. Rather, it's a self-closing tag. You can place a br like this or like a br like this. We add a few of them to keep the paragraph widely separated. Great. Now we want the paragraph to appear in higher font size like that of a heading. See that if you can do it on your own. Pause the video now and give it a shot. Hope you did try it out. Let's see how we can accomplish it. We know that in order to display a heading, we use the h1 to h6 tags. Let's choose the h1 tag. Now we simply nest the paragraph inside the h1 tag. And done! Look how easy it was to nest elements together inside and get amazing results. Let me give you some important information regarding HTML. Point number 1. HTML is not a case-sensitive language, which means smaller and capital text written in HTML are considered identical. For example, we can use capital P instead of small p to refer to the p tag. Point number 2. HTML is not a programming language, but a markup language. A programming language is one which uses some business logic inside to give output. On the other hand, we can't use HTML to write business logic for our web pages. Point number 3. Since HTML is not a programming language, the HTML code is neither compiled nor interpreted. Rather, the HTML code is parsed and understood by the web browser. Now let us understand a very important topic, and that is the HTML attributes. Now the attributes in HTML are very similar to the attributes of real life. Attributes in general are used to describe a particular object. Say, what will be the attributes for your hair? They would be those that define your hair, like what is the length of your hair, what is the color of your hair, and so on and so forth. Similarly, HTML attributes describe the characteristics of an HTML element. It is important to note that the HTML attributes are always placed next to the opening tag. Each HTML attribute generally has some value associated with it. HTML attributes are usually written within the following syntax: attribute name followed by the value. With that info in mind, let us add the bgcolor attribute to the body tag to set the background color of the page to blue. So we write the attribute bgcolor along with the value blue next to the body tag. Let's see if it works, and voila, our background is now blue. We have tons of HTML attributes to choose from, and it is next to impossible to discuss each one of them. So we will only have a look at the important ones. As the course progresses, we will slowly learn about them. Okay, till now we have added only text on our web page. Let's try adding some images to make our web page look even cooler. We can add images to the web page by using the image tag. It is important to know to add an img tag as a self-closing tag indicated as img followed by a slash. However, practically you can also use the corresponding closing tag as well. Every img tag needs to have a src attribute that defines the path where the image is located. So let's find an image, say of a book, and download it. So I open Google Chrome and search for book. Here it is. I simply download it. Now I place it in the same directory where my HTML file is and name it as book.jpg. Onto the HTML file now, I simply use the img tag and add an attribute called src and feed it the value of the image file along with the file extension. Hit save, and yet, yes, the image is there. But it's too big. Let's define the attributes height and width to control the size of the image. Let's say we give it a height of 100 and a width of 200. Hit save. See, the image has now resized. We now try adding the same image multiple times. So let me just copy paste it a few more times and we notice there is something different. The images are appearing next to each other instead of appearing on separate lines. However, the head and the paragraphs we placed earlier did appear on separate lines. Try adding a few more images. See, when more images are added, they too appear next to each other until they occupy the entire width of the page where they are forced to move to the next line. So how we can explain this behavior? It is simply because the images and the heading tags are different types of HTML elements. How they are different, we shall see in the next lecture. Till then, feel free to subscribe, like and comment to my channel for more awesome videos. Till then, happy coding.